All right, so I'm going to show a demo of a POC that we did around CoreDNS. Last time we were here, we were talking about how it works. So I'm going to briefly go over that again. So with CoreDNS, we have DNS servers on each cluster. And the DNS operator from Kuadrant is responsible for reconciling the DNS record that's created from the DNS policy into two new DNS records. One that is for the gateway host, and one that is for the local record set, which we put under a .quadrant TLD. And then in each CoreDNS, we have a Kuadrant plugin, Compiledin, and its job is to read these resources and respond to DNS queries and apply things like weighting and geo to those responses. Anything else that I need to point out here? So yeah, so then each DNS operator is configured via a DNS provider, which is nothing new. It's something that already exists, but it's configured to know about each other CoreDNS instance that it needs to know about. And then the DNS operator is responsible for effectively doing a dig using the Kuadrant TLD against each authoritative name server to build up a full record set so that each cluster has a full record set for each host across multiple clusters or multiple gateways. And then the idea is that from a recursive DNS server, like something like AWS, you would delegate the zone to each of these name servers, and people could then reach, clients could then reach your applications. But today I'm going to show something a little, which is very much the same, but just in one cluster, and something. This is the guide that we put together, so you could actually try it yourself as well. But so instead of two clusters, we have two namespaces. We have a CoreDNS in each namespace, which is only looking at records in its own namespace. We have two gateways, both in each namespace as well, and a DNS policy for each. So this DNS operator will be doing a lookup for k.example.com.quadrant in both of these, and then this client will be looking at k.example.com, which is the merging of the two of those DNS responses. Okay, so I have done a couple of steps already just to save time. So locally, I have got a tiny cluster running already. Okay. Two running locally. Only supposed to be one, but I'm sure it will be fine. And I've deployed the updated version of the DNS operator, and I've applied some flags to tell it to use that CoreDNS is enabled. I've also just set up some basic gateways, so let me show those. So we've got these two here, and we're using MetalLV to assign IP addresses. Okay, so with those gateways set up, we can now, and with the CoreDNS instances set up, we can apply our DNS policy. So to do that, we've got an example one, which I have here. Oh, actually, first of all, we need to set up the DNS provider secrets. So to do that, we're pulling out the IP address of each CoreDNS instance and then creating the secret. So they'll already be there, I think, before. Yeah, I'll just show that. Well, it's base64 encoded, but it's got name servers and zones. So that piece is already set up there. Yeah, so setting up the DNS policies. So let's set those up. And if I show you one of those, or if I show you those, so we have nothing special here. It's just got a specific geo set. So this is for North America. This one is for EU, and it's the default one. That's not actually important in this demo. And we have our provider, which is that secret that we created. That's the same for both of those. Okay. So if we check those, they should be ready. Yeah. And if we look here now as well, we will see some DNS records created. So we can see we've got, this is the one that Kuadrant would normally make. And then this is the two that DNS operator makes because it's CoreDNS. And they're labeled as CoreDNS, which then the CoreDNS plugin is going to pick up. So if we come over here to this, it's just logs, but in here you'll see there's a bunch of records being added by the Kuadrant plugin, ready to be served. And you'll see it's already serving responses because each DNS operator is querying the servers and building up a full view. It's only POC and it could get a lot more efficient than this, but it's, you know, it's a proof of concept. So, yep, got our DNS records in place now. And I need to go back to here. Okay, so with all that in place, so we've got our gateways with our host names, which is k.example.com. We've got our policies and we've got our records in place, and Kuadrant plugin is reading those. So you can show that the policies are enforced. Actually, I already did that. So now we can actually test that what we've defined is working the way we expect it to. So as I mentioned, in each DNS policy, we have a geo set. So in the proof of concept, we loaded in a fake MaxMind type DB that will respond in a very specific way just to prove the concept. So if we dig with this command here against the IP address of CoreDNS, you see we get an EU response. So that's 20. If we do that against the second address, second CoreDNS, we'll get the same response. And then if we come back again, if we change the subnet here, we'll see that it switches to the EU response. Sorry, NA response, the North America response. And that's the same for both CoreDNS instances. So 19 is NA and 20 is EU. Okay, so that's the geo piece. So that's the bit that would respond based on your geolocation, based on a lookup from the sort of a MaxMind type database. And then, so now we're going to show the weighted stuff working as well. So I just need to patch the DNS policy just to change it over, because at the moment we've got one in the EU and we've got one in North America, and so they're not going to be like weighted against each other. So we're going to put them both into the same region, and then they'll be weighted. So that's what I'm changing here. Is I'm changing that geo to be EU instead of North America. And just give that a minute, but looks to be good. It's still called NA, but it's actually defined as EU now. So now if we, I should have done this before showing that it didn't alternate before, but anyway. So now if I dig here in a loop, you won't see a perfect weighting, but you will see a weighting. So we've got 20s coming back. It's definitely going to switch to .19s. I cursed myself. Nope, that's not right. Okay, let me just check something there. Let's check that that policy is correct. So we have EU, that one, and we have got EU on that one. We have waiting. Okay. And just check the DNS records. So they all seem okay. Okay, I'll just try again. And if it doesn't work, I'll just have to give up. There we go. Okay, so it's just probably waiting for everything to reconcile. So we can see it switched between .19 and .20 in the response. So that's the waiting kicking in. And that is the end of my demo.